Gods and goddesses in pre-Islamic Arabia. Deities formed a part of the polytheistic religious beliefs in pre-Islamic Arabia. Between the 4th century AD and the emergence of Islam, polytheism was the dominant form of religion in Arabia. Deities represented the forces of nature, love, death, and so on, and were interacted with by a variety of rituals. Here we take a look at the list of these gods and goddesses. Am is the moon god of Kataban, an ancient Yemenite kingdom in South Arabia that existed from the early 1st millennium BCE to the late 1st or 2nd centuries CE. His attributes include the lightning bolts. Am is served by the judge god Anbay and has the goddess Athirat as his consort. The Katabanians believed in the moon's supremacy over the sun. Ammi'anas is a god worshipped by the Ghayyan. According to the Book of Idols, the Ghayyan would offer a portion of their livestock property and land products and give one part to Ammi'anas and the other to God. While no epigraphic evidence of this god is known, the existence of Ammi'anas cannot be ruled out as his name is present in the personal name of a Ghayyanite leader. Athtar is the god associated with the planet Venus and was the most common god to South Arabian cultures. He is a god of thunderstorms and natural irrigation. As Athtar was considered remote, worship was usually directed to the patron deity of a kingdom. Am is a god who was worshipped by the Azd of al-Shara, an ancient Arabian tribe in Saudi Arabia. Era. He was believed to have ruled as the first pharaoh of ancient Egypt. He was the god of the sun, order, kings and the sky. Abgal is a tutelary god worshipped by nomads, including Bedouins, and a tutelary god of the Arabs of the Palmyra region. His name is found in inscriptions dating to the times of the Palmyrene Empire. Abirillu is a god mentioned in an Assyrian inscription. Al-Lat is a goddess associated with fertility and war. Her cult was spread throughout the Arabian Peninsula and as far as Palmyra. She was equated with Athena, the Greek goddess of war. In the Hijaz region, she was especially worshipped by the Banu Thaqif of Taif, and she was also worshipped by the Nabateans of North Arabia. There is also evidence of her worship in South Arabia and Kedar, with her name being attested in inscriptions. In Islamic tradition, her worship was ended with the destruction of her shrine in Taif. Almaqah was the chief god of the Sabaeans, and a god of artificial irrigation. Associated with the bull's head and vines, he was regarded as the progenitor of the Sabaeans, and his worship spread to the Ethiopian kingdoms of Damat, ancient Ethio-Sabaean kingdom, and kingdom of Aksum. Anbay is a god worshipped in Kataban, alongside Haukim, as gods of command and decision. He was regarded as a deity of justice and an oracle, in attendance to the moon deity Am. His name is related to the name of the Babylonian god Nabu. Arsu is a northern Arabian god worshipped in Palmyra. He personifies the evening star, while the morning star is personified by Azizos, and he is associated with horses and camels. He is equated with Ruda, who was worshipped elsewhere in northern Arabia. Ashar is one of the nomadic gods of the Arabs during the Palmyrene Empire period. Atarquruma is a god worshipped by the Kedarites mentioned in an Assyrian inscription. He probably originated as a form of Athtar. Atarsamain is a deity of uncertain gender, worshipped among the Kedarites, and was associated with Venus. He was particularly worshipped by the Isam tribe. Athirat is a goddess worshipped in Kataban as the consort of Am. Cognate to the West Semitic Atharat Ashira, who usually has El as her consort. Athtar Shariqan is a form of Athtar who was invoked as an avenger against enemies. The word Shariqan means the Eastern One. The worship of this god has spread to the Central Arabian kingdom of Kinda, where his name appears in Qariat al-Fat. Al-Uqaysir is a god whose cult image stood in Syria. According to the Book of Idols, his adherents include the tribes of Quda'ay, Banu Lahm, Judah, Banu Amila, and Ghatafan. Adherents would go on a pilgrimage to the cult image and shave their heads, then mix their hair with wheat, for every single hair a handful of wheat. Al-Uzzá. Al-Uzzá is a goddess associated with might, protection and love. Equated with the Greek goddess Aphrodite, she was an important goddess of the Nabateans, and a temple dedicated to her was set up at Petra. In the Hijaz, she became the chief goddess of the Quraysh, and a shrine housing 3 trees once stood in Nakhla. In pre-Islamic poetry, she was invoked as a symbol of beauty. In South Arabia, she was known as a Ghayyan and she was associated with healing. In Islamic tradition, her worship was ended with the destruction of her shrine in Nakhla. Bajir. Bajir is a minor god of the pre-Islamic Arabian tribe Azd. Balaw. Balaw is a god worshipped in the kingdom of Azan. Basamum. Basamum is a god worshipped in South Arabia whose name may be derived from Arabic basam, or balsam, a medicinal plant, indicating that he may be associated with healing or health. One ancient text relates how Basamum cured 2 wild goats. Datin. Datin is a god primarily known from inscriptions in northern Arabia, but his function is unknown. Dhat-Anwat. Dhat-Anwat is a tree deity worshipped by the Quraysh. The tree stood between Mecca and Yathrib, and devotees hang their weapons on it. Dhat-Badan. Dhat-Badan is a goddess of the oasis, worshipped in tree-circled pools. Dhat-Sanat. Dhat-Sanat is a Katabanian goddess who formed part of their official pantheon. Dhu-Ghabat. Dhu-Ghabat was the chief god of the Lihyanites, who rarely turned to others for their needs. Dhu al-Kaffayn. Dhu al-Kaffayn is a god worshipped by the Daws, specifically the Banu Munhib ibn Daws. His name means, he of the 2 palms. Dhul Khalasa. Dhul Khalasa is a god worshipped by the Bajila and the Qatham tribes, and was reportedly worshipped as a god of redemption. His temple became known as the Kaaba of Yemen. Dhu Samawi. Dhu Samawi, literally, the Heavenly One, is a god who probably originated from northern Arabia, but also found worship in South Arabia. The Bedouin would offer votive statuettes of camels, to ensure well-being of their herds. The Amir tribe also worshipped this god, and in inscriptions Dhu Samawi was regarded as the god of Amir. Dhu al-Shara. Dushara is a mountain god worshipped primarily by the Nabateans as their chief god, and also by the Banu al-Harith ibn Yashkur ibn Mubashir clan of the Azd. Probably originating as an aspect of Ruda, he is associated with the sun and the planet Mercury. Fils. Fils is a god who, according to the Book of Idols, is associated with animals, and that animals roaming in the territory of his cult image would become a property of the god. Primarily worshipped by the Tay tribe, his cult image and sanctuary was said to be located on the Jabal Aya. Gad. Gad is a Pan-Semitic god of fortune who is also attested in Arabia. Ghayyan. Ghayyan is a god worshipped by the Banu Umayyah of the Aws tribe. Since Ghayyan's name can be traced in the traditional genealogy of the Umayyah, it is possible that Ghayyan is a deified ancestor. Haubas. Haubas is an oracular deity of the Sabaeans. The deity's gender varies from area to area. In places where the deity is female, she is regarded as the consort of Athtar. Haukim. Haukim is a god of law and justice. His name is derived from the root, to be wise. Hawl. Hawl was probably a moon god, as his name may have alluded to the lunar cycle. He was worshipped in Hadramaut. Hilal. Hilal is a god of the new moon. Hubal. Hubal is a god associated with divination. His cult image stood in the Kaaba, and his rituals were in the form of throwing divination arrows before the image, in cases of virginity, death, and marriage. He is worshipped by many tribes, including the Quraysh, who controlled access to the image. Hubal's name also appears in a Nabatean inscription in Mada in Salah, along with Dushara and Manat.